Thank you so much, Una, and good morning, everyone. My name is Lindsay Heiser, and I oversee our global philanthropy here at Snap Inc. I'm so excited and thrilled to be here with friends and colleagues, Bish Paul from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Jessica Santana from America on Tech. So I'd love to just jump right into it, the conversation. So Bish, if you wanted to just share a little bit about what you all are doing at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation when it comes to representation for young people and career pathways.
Sure, and thank you for the opportunity. Bish Paul, he, him pronouns. For folks who may be visually impaired, I am a South Asian male, wearing a blue kurta and some really snazzy bangles, Julia. So what I do at Gates Foundation, I manage the Washington State program, and what we're doing is to try and get students and youth to STEM, we have to start with just basic education, access to education. If you can't get reading and math, you cannot get to STEM degrees. So the ways that we're doing that, what is crucial is to address the systemic issues, which are 3 systemic issues: lack of access, lack of information, and also lack of opportunities for underserved groups. So I specifically use the word underserved because they're underrepresented for a reason, because we're not serving them enough. And to do that, we need to, what I'm doing and what my team is doing, we're making systemic investments. And the systems investments are in 4 key categories. So one is scholarships. Scholarships that are direct financial support that will pay you not just to go to college, but also all of the other expenses, living expenses, etc. Number 2, equitable educational opportunities. So we invest in schools directly, in K-12 schools, so that we can get the curriculum that students need to be able to come to jobs in various tech companies. Number 3 is mentoring and role models. You know, we need to be able to, you cannot be what you can't see. So making sure that we invest in folks that look like the students that we want to attract. The last one is investing in career navigators and investing in people who will let you know that these careers even exist. So those are some of the things that I'm doing.
Yes, amazing. Thank you for all the incredible work that you're doing. We're going to come back to some of those points that you just mentioned, but I'd love to turn it over to Jessica to share some of the work that you're doing with America on Tech to be able to create career pathways for young people in New York, Miami, and Los Angeles, and kind of hear a little bit about the programming and the support that you're doing for young people and opening doors with them, specifically in the tech industry.
Yeah, for sure. So first off, I just want to say it's really awesome to be in community with each and every one of you. Jessica Santana, pronouns are she, her, ella. And if you are visually impaired, I am a Puerto Rican from New York. I tried a little Mary Poppins style today with a red blazer and a skirt that makes me a little uncomfortable over here. But I'm really excited to be here. You know, 10 years ago, my co-founder and I, we sat at a Starbucks in Brooklyn. We had just started our careers in technology, and we asked ourselves, why, as people who did not believe we were exceptional, how did we get into these high-paying jobs, into an industry that oftentimes doesn't have people that look like us or come from the communities that we're from? And rather than being, sad or entering our, sad people era, we were like, you know what? Let's be a part of the solution. So what started out as a pilot with just 20 students in Brooklyn has transformed into a national organization. And over the last decade, we've worked with more than 5,000 students across the country in New York, LA, and Miami.
Yes.
85% of our young people are either in tech jobs or pursuing computer science and information systems programs. And the ways in which we do this work is by providing tuition-free technology education and job training programs for our young people. The students in our programs, they get to select really awesome technical tracks. So we're not just a coding program. If coding is what they want to do, that track is available. But students in our programs get to choose from cybersecurity to UX design to web design to product management to data science, and ultimately we pair them up with internships and job experiences in the field. I will say that we've seen young people in our programs that have not had any access to technology graduate from our courses and making up to upwards of $250,000 per year in total compensation after completion of our programs. We're also working with corporations to develop nonprofit and employer partnerships that inform our curriculum. We are working to make sure that we actually actually are a tech talent pipeline for companies that we work with. And we're also making sure that the data and the research that we've done at AOT is compiled in a way that informs the industry about what they can do to make meaningful change in their communities.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. All the snaps for that. Bish, kind of just building upon that a lot, I know that you're overseeing a lot of work in the state of Washington,
Sure.
and specifically around advocacy. And so I was curious to hear how you're transforming on a state level career pathways for young people.
Of course. So even though I lead the work in Washington State, I also have colleagues who lead the work in California, New York, and Texas. So all of the 3 different tech hubs that we can be partnering with.
Yes.
And the way that we're doing this is we want to do public and private partnerships. So philanthropy is the table that can convene public schools, public universities, and it can convene each and every one of you and folks who are watching online. We want to do public-private partnerships because that is the only way to keep this sustainable. Also, the reason that some of the inequities exist is because they were written into law. So one of the things that I do as a policy lead is we rewrite inequitable laws because that's the only way we can make sustainable progress that keeps going. I'm here on stage because there was immigration law that was passed. There was I'm queer because of all of the queer rights that I got, because my parents were able to come here as immigrants. All of those were because of policy changes. So I do believe that policy change is very important. And the second thing that we're doing is making sure that we also do investments, which are public-private partnerships. So we're investing. I would love for you folks to invest too. Gates Foundation in Washington State, I'm investing $80 million across the state. Sounds like a big number, but we're serving 1.2 million kids. So when you divide that out, it's not that much. So we do need private partnerships to be able to make that money go far. And also think of systems investments. I know the companies a lot of times want to do their one internship and this bespoke program that they want to make. And if you are doing that, thank you for doing that, but also think about, does it connect to a K-12 piece? Like, does it connect to something that links to a high school graduation? There are community and technical colleges everywhere, and they want and need career pathways, right? So you are going to HBCUs, you're going to historically Hispanic serving institutions, that's awesome. But also in your backyard, in your neighborhood, there are a ton of BIPOC students like me, who are low income, like me, that need you to come to my university and please recruit me from there and do career pathways. And the last thing that I would say is just, even on an individual basis, like there's a lot of ways that social media and tech companies can help disseminate information. Folks don't know that these career opportunities exist. At Snap, can you imagine like a VR experience of what a day in the life looks like for a couple of different careers? So even if you're in a rural area, if you're in living on a reservation, you don't have the ability to come to an urban center, but maybe the phone in your hand can help you explore a career that you might not have access to. But even other things like financial aid. A lot of students across the nation do not know that they're eligible for financial aid. Could we use technology to solve that? So if you're in the room and if you want to help out, please come find me. And also, please go to Washington State Initiative at Gates Foundation, and we have more information there.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Bish. Jessica, I'd love to hear from you, maybe 2 to 3 like concrete action steps that you have for folks that are here in the room or that are tuning in online.
Yeah. Well, where do I begin? Because 2 to 3 action steps does not feel like enough. But the first thing I'll say is I think, one, there needs to be a paradigm shift in the mental models that we use to associate what it looks like to develop a tech talent pipeline, specifically for underestimated students. I think that there's this preconceived notion that doing so is charitable work, and I'm here to let you know that that is not charitable work. That is actually important for the future of our country to have a national talent strategy that is inclusive of Black and Latinx students specifically, which are the students that we serve at America on Tech. So I think there has to be a mental model in this shift in understanding that this is not about doing the right thing. This is about ensuring the competitiveness of our country's future in the global economy. I think the second thing I'm going to say is that I think there has to be a reimagination of where we actually source talent from. I think a lot of times, especially at America on Tech, even a decade in, when we're working with HR or we're working with recruiters, there's this sentiment in that maybe the talent that we have trained and prepared for these kinds of careers is subpar, or it might feel like it's lowering the bar. And it is no way that you can sit here and justify that students that have gone through year-long intensive training programs are not qualified for these kinds of positions, because if you want to get technical, there are many people at these companies that had an auntie, an uncle, a cousin, a brother that also got them through a referral system. And if we want to talk about qualifications, I think we need to revisit some of those resumes. And the last thing I'm going to say is I think that we have to work in collaboration with one another, because I think a lot of times in this space, we try to think that we can do it all by ourselves. And the reality of the situation is that no one is free until everyone is free.
Yes.
In order for us to create the movements that we need in order to make and affect the kind of changes we want to see in our communities, it takes a village to raise our children, and we need to be able to do that in collaboration with one another.
Thank you so much. Bish, any closing words that you'd like to share with the group?
My call to action is please help make public-private partnerships happen. We would love to collaborate. The foundation is one of the places, but there are a lot of folks here that could help with just, even if you're volunteering at your community technical college, like each and every one of you has a skill set that is super valuable, and you could be an adjunct professor, or you could be a teacher, you could do anything. So please think of this as a community work. I love the way that you think about it as a community work, and please join us.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much to Bish and Jessica. Please invite you to give them a warm round of applause.